You are tuned to the Witching Hours, and I'm your host, Kanaska Carter. Tonight's episode is going to be about Hollow Moon and Hollow Earth theory. So we're going to be speaking about subterranean civilization within caves, within the earth, in the center of the earth perhaps. Are there openings at the North and the South Pole? This is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So Admiral Richard Byrd, he was born 1888 and he died 1957. He brought attention to Antarctica and introduced modern methods to Antarctica research, such as aviation, surface transport, radio communication. He had the first live radio to the USA broadcast nationwide from Antarctica. So he also did a lot of fundraising for public relations. So his first flight to the North Pole was 1926. And it is believed that after he returned, he called it the mysterious land that was beyond the North Pole. He said there was a mysterious land, the center of the great unknown. And he also talked about advanced civilizations. He's alleged and rumored to have talked about advanced civilizations. And then after he returned, he was debriefed by Washington saying that he shouldn't talk about that and not to talk about that. So did he actually see something when he went on these voyages to the poles of our Earth? There's many people who are speculating that he went into what is known as Agartha, or the inner Earth, and many people all across the world think that there are actual openings once you get to the North and the South Pole. This is what I think would make the most sense, honestly. It's almost like a toroid, how the energy would come like this around the Earth, kind of like, so these are the two poles, and the energy would flow through this way. So the poles, the openings are believed to be here and also at the South Pole. Could make sense, right? There's many tribes all over the earth who claim that their ancestors came from inner Earth. So Admiral Byrd traveled 1,200 miles from Spitzberg to the North Pole and then returned. Apparently, the flight wasn't as great as they made it seem in the media, and that he actually crashed on the way back. So he called it the center of the great unknown, and he said he claimed and alleged to have flown over green areas where there should have been snow and ice. And he discovered an entrance into the earth that was hollow. It was like a hollow earth civilization. Also new craft that could fly from pole to pole. Interesting. So are these portals? Or is it, say there actually are openings. Maybe not just at the poles. Perhaps they're located all over the earth, right? But these may be portals to another dimension or an entrance to the inner earth. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think? Do you think the earth is oblate? Is it a sphere? Is it flat? Is it a rectangle? I don't know. Could be so many things, right? With 2014, scientists researching the Earth's mantle have found what they believe to be a vast body of water, miles, hundreds of miles underground, 3 times the volume of all of our oceans combined, contained within a mineral layer inside the Earth. So I've seen people speak about how they drilled 8 miles into the Earth and they had to stop because it got too hot. So what are they finding when they reach this area? Hollow moon theory. Now, I was speaking about this on the last episode. The craters on the surface of the moon are convex. They're not concave, meaning that they only go so far and then it's flat. It's like it's hitting some sort of a sphere, perhaps a metallic sphere encasement, preventing anything from going any further into the moon. So, is it possible is it possible that there's a civilization living inside of the moon and inside of the Earth? Perhaps there's civilizations living inside of every planet and we're just unaware. Or some people are aware of it, but it's not something they want to make public knowledge. So the strange thing about the hollow moon theory is November 20th, 1969, during the ascent back to the command module, Commander Charles Jr. and another pilot, Alan B. lunar launch vehicle, it crashed into the moon. So as they were launching away, the part that detaches from it to make the spaceship move, it crashed into the moon, and the moon seismically reverberated like a bell for over an hour. The launch vehicle crashed into the surface, so the moon rang like a bell. So Apollo 13 crashed a heavier portion of the rocket into the moon. It hit the lunar surface and rang like a gong for over 3 hours at a depth of 23 miles. So the surface of the moon is made of basalt, which absorbs impact extremely well. So you would not expect, say the entire moon was made of this. You would expect not a reverberation to sound like a gong or a bell because it is absorbing the impact. However, we're seeing the complete opposite happening. So, as I was saying, there's many cultures around the earth that are talking about ancestors coming from an inner earth type of subterranean civilization. For the Greeks, it's the underworld. Christians, it's hell. There's the Jewish, Nordic, and Buddhism belief. It's also called Shambhala, which is located inside the earth. And there's many legends that the ancestors emerged from caves or subterranean lands. And many cultures talk about civilizations on the inner earth. The Iroquois, the Hopi in South America, Mexico, the Inca Empire, and in Peru. So, even the Angami Naga tribes of India claim that their ancestors emerged in ancient times from a subterranean land inside the earth. And the Taino from Cuba believe their ancestors emerged in ancient times, and they came out of caves in a mountain underground. It's always underground for some reason. So it leads us to really start to question if there are civilizations living inside of our planet. Not to mention we have underground bases located all over the globe. So it doesn't really seem that far off from reality that this could actually be something that's well known. So is the inner earth a portal? Perhaps it is. Maybe it is. Is the inner earth a portal, or does it contain ancient civilizations that could tell us where we actually came from? The origins of the human race. I really believe we're alien hybrids. So to quote Sebastian Lebeau, repatriation officer for the Cheyenne River Sioux, a Lakota tribe based in Eagles Butte, SD, "We know where we came from," he said. "We are the descendants of the Buffalo people. They came from inside the earth after supernatural spirits prepared this world for humankind to live here. If non-Indians choose to believe they evolved from an ape, so be it. I have yet to come across 5 Lakotas who believe in science and in evolution." So there's many indigenous tribes worldwide that believe they originated from inside of our earth. So why aren't we talking about this more? Why aren't we speaking about this? And this quote comes from an article because scientists wanted to do research on hair that they found of their ancestors. And they were saying, we know where we came from. We don't need scientists to tell us where we came from by studying the hair of our ancestors and the bones of our ancestors, because they have storytelling that's been passed on that tells them where they originated from. And so many are saying it's from inside of our earth. So what do you guys believe? Do you think the earth is flat? Is it spheroid? Is it oblate? Is it a toroid? Are we really spinning super fast going through the universe? If we are traveling through space, why can we take a picture of the stars and constellations at the same time every year on the same day, and it's in the same spot? Wouldn't we eventually get farther away from it, or wouldn't things change if we were just bolting through outer space? That's the thing I don't understand. But I had a friend once tell me about how he saw a hooded being descend into the earth. He was walking through the woods and it had a hood on, and it slowly sunk into the earth until it disappeared. And there's so many cases of people, even myself, seeing an alien when I was in the woods. Maybe they have entrances within the woods and on mountainsides and things like that, in caves, and that's how they get into the inner earth. Or it's inside of the ocean, like we're seeing with UFOs coming up out of the ocean. I feel like more answers are going to be revealed in time. But so many tribes are talking about how we come from inner earth. That's what feels the most real to me. So decide for yourself, as always. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is the earth hollow? Is the moon hollow? And what does that mean for us and our origins? Are there aliens existing underneath our feet at this very moment? Perhaps there are. Maybe it's just a portal to another dimension entirely. Maybe the ocean is a completely different dimension already. Well, that's it for the Witching Hours. I'll see you next week for another episode. Have a beautiful night. See you next Wednesday. I'm your host, Kanaska Carter.